Y'all know I don't have my mic on, like, am I muted? Hey, y'all. What's good? Oh, why can't I ever get this right? Why? Hey, Bama. Good to see you. How are you? Hey, Amanda. Yes, am I muted? Is the audio on? How are you guys doing? Happy New Year Eve. Can y'all believe it? Amanda, I can't ever get this thing right. Y'all know that. Y'all know what to expect from me, okay? Bam. So let me tell you. I was trying to hurry up and get this video done before this live. And I'm not done editing, but I think the next video will kind of explain why she feels the way she does. I need to move that background over a little more or something. It ain't right. My daughter didn't hang up my background right. Let me see. Maybe I should go over a little bit. Did I do it? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to set up my little aesthetic right. I can't ever. Let me be careful so I don't drop this water. Um, I did go over it a little bit, Bama, so that might explain, like, eh, to be honest with you, I really believe that she felt she was doing the right thing. And of course, we know that she wasn't, but she's very entitled. Um, a lot of people speak highly of her. Um, it's just sad all the way around. She'll never be remorseful. Um, and it's just one of those things. I don't think the family will ever heal from this. Her family will never heal from this. Her family still believes wholeheartedly that she didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't her fault. Um, they've even brought race into the picture, which didn't make sense to me because she wasn't charged with a hate crime. Like nobody, I think, initially said anything about black or white until they made it about black, or white. And so, Bama. Hey, Glenn. Yes, I agree. I agree. So no, I wanted to watch Mr. Terry Robinson's testimony, the 911 supervisor's testimony, um, and somebody else's. We'll probably do hers. What is today? Saturday. Maybe Monday night. I'm off Monday night. So we can do it Monday night because I want to do her interrogation, but I'm doing that as a video first. And it's important that we do the interrogation first before we watch her testimony, and you'll see why. So, mhm. But what do you think his defense was? Because all I got out of it was she was just trying to be a good Samaritan or whatever, which is not the case. Because she never, inquired to see if he was okay, if he needed medical assistance or treatment or anything like that. It was just more so get your ass back to the scene of the accident. That's all I got from it. So what was his defense? Because all I heard was, she just tried to do the right thing and she was only 21. And now I know originally um there were talks about, citizens arrest or whatever, or it could have just been the media trying to, play on that or whatever. But what was his defense? Do y'all know? Because I don't know what it was. And, like, I'm doing a whole video about him too. Like, I haven't heard anything good about him. I heard that he has a history of being late to court or just not showing up. I read reviews about him and they were not good. Um, I've watched his behavior during this trial and it was deplorable. So, I think he just, was one of those attorneys where it was just like, "I just gotta get through this case." It is cold. Okay. Mhm. Right. But citizens arrest per Georgia was that you could lawfully detain someone if they were in commission of a felony. I just did a video on that. I just didn't get enough time to finish editing it. And so per Georgia, he didn't commit a felony. So I guess I don't know if I'm not understanding it completely or what, but from my understanding, the felony that he would have had to commit would be like kidnapping, of course, rape, something with drugs, unaliving someone. He just caused an accident and was trying to leave. So I don't know. You know how the law is really tricky. Hey, good to see you. Where have you been? Where have you been? Oh, stop texting me. I'm busy. Oh. Didn't Andy always have to keep his gun locked up? Didn't he get it like once a year or something, if I remember correctly? Hi, how are you? Okay, I don't want to mispronounce your name. Is it Tequila? I had a classmate named Tequila, but it was spelled like tequila. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but how are you? Good to see you. Okay, what y'all in here talking about hip replacement and all of that? What is going on? Y'all falling apart? All right, y'all, let's jump into it. So, if you are new to the case, Mr. Terry Robinson is a correctional officer in Georgia, and he was one of the bystanders at the scene of the crime or the accident, I should say. And he is the one who tried to um, just check on Mr. Herring, make sure he was okay, assure him that he was okay and that he was calling 911. He made 2 calls to 911. He wasn't aggressive with Mr. Herring or anything like that. He calmly tried to get Mr. Herring to just, get back in his car and wait on the police to get there. Unfortunately, he was unable to get the tag number from Mr. Herring's car, and so Hannah tried to make it seem as if Mr. Robinson gave her the go ahead to pursue Mr. Herring when he was only trying to get her to get the tag number to relay back to 911. So we're gonna listen to the testimony. Oh, like to drink. Okay, Miss Tequila. Well, it's good to see you. Let's see what Glenn saying. Hit and run can possibly be a felony, and he was clean. But it wasn't on the list. But you know what? Right, and you know what? I don't know if you watched, like, any of the preliminary hearings. I know one of the judges had said, she was advising, Hannah to get another attorney. I was like, "Damn," and she didn't take heed, so she didn't take heed. It's just also sad. Hey, Sierra. Thank you so much, and thank you for, like, my natural curls. I want y'all to see all of them. Thank you. All right, y'all. Come on. I'm trying to get to the video. What y'all talking about now? Who in constant pain? I'm sorry y'all going through the pain. I'm so sorry. Y'all need hip replacements and all of that. I'm so sorry. What? I thought it was like a fender bender and left scene like $200 fine. What? I'm misunderstanding you. Did you think that when he hit the car it was just a fender bender? No, his car was tore pretty badly, but she still shouldn't have pursued him, if I'm understanding this correctly. Right, right. Yeah. Okay. Enough, enough. Let's watch this real quick. Let's watch this real quick, and then we can. Okay, hold on. Look, Glenn, you know how we do up in here. I don't mind. I don't mind. I love talking to y'all. You had a hip replacement? Oh man, how was the healing process for you? Okay, so you thought that it was just a fender bender? No, I think he hit the truck head on. Now, originally, he did not try to leave the scene. He tried to stay. He was disoriented. He did stay, but they were just taking too long. And it's just like if you've ever had a situation where like you felt like your sugar was dropping, of course, that's a medical emergency. You know you're in a state of panic or whatever. And so he waited 20 minutes, but he didn't know, and no one else knew that. I think they said that it was an oil spill or something a few miles up the road, and so it was obstructing traffic or whatever. And so he waited, and then he was just like, I guess in his mind, I got to get to safety or get to a hospital or whatever. Um, but Hannah just made it worse than it needs to be, especially given the fact that he didn't hit her car. She wasn't, actually a part of the accident at all. She was just a bystander. She was just there, you know. And she went to play cop that day. Oh man, my cousin had rheumatoid arthritis. All right, y'all. We good now? Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to press play. I want y'all to know too, I did not pay my YouTube premium yet this month. So we might get some ads or what have you. So y'all, just go with it or whatever. So this is Mr. Terry Robinson. He did seem like he was very nervous on the stand as well.
A couple years ago, I ended up in a
See there
motorcycle
go.
accident. I didn't have health insurance at the time.
Hold
And now I
on.
have a plan that keeps me covered for 9.
Hush. Um, he did seem very nervous on the stand, but he did the best he could or whatever. So let's start with him.
Okay, and you're just, okay, so you're excused, you may remain in the court.
All right, hold on. So that's his sister. That's his baby sister. Her testimony was only about 5 minutes long. The state just asked her about his medical history, and she said that she knew that he had diabetes, but she couldn't give a lot of information about that. And she also said that he did odd work. You have to remember he was in his 60s, so he just did like, those little odd and end jobs, like maybe plumbing jobs and things of that nature. She said that she was really close with her brother and that was all that the state had for her. And then um, here come the defense. I can't even remember what he asked her, but it wasn't much of anything. He did apologize for her loss or whatever, and so now we're getting ready to hear from Mr. Terry.
The state may call its next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Terry Robinson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Robinson. Are you going to swear him in, ADA Hunter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you will provide to this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may have a seat. Pull yourself up to the microphone. If you feel comfortable, can you remove your mask and talk clearly into the microphone so the court reporter can take down your testimony? If you don't feel comfortable, then just make sure you speak clearly into the microphone.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Terry Robinson, Terrybinson.
And Mr. Robinson, what is your current occupation?
I work with the Georgia Department of Corrections.
And what do you do for the Georgia Department of Corrections?
I work in infirmary operations, securing inmates, managing those particular things that operations what we have for the state of Georgia.
Okay, and you stated you work in the infirmary. Can you give us kind of your duties and responsibilities and what your day-to-day would look like in that role?
Well, in that particular role, what we do is manage, making sure that our the offenders are taken care of when they come into our facilities. We're generally similar like a hospital, but making sure the operations are management, making sure that these particular offenders are taken care of. That's basically it, by watching over them and keeping them secure.
Okay, do you work closely with any of the nurses in these facilities?
Of course,
And what are your duties as far as the nurses are concerned?
making sure they're safe, making sure that nothing takes place with them, watching them as they manage placement and give out medical or assisting the offenders as needed.
Okay, have you ever been involved with inmates who are having medical conditions?
Yes, all the time. I mean, basically, when they have certain things, when they happen with them, we call the nurses down to make sure that see after them and everything. Basically, just making sure that the nurses are aware and that the doctors come down to just as well.
And have you had the opportunity to just observe the inmates when they're either diagnosed with certain conditions or being treated for certain conditions?
We pay attention to that, but basically, just when they're saying that this particular offender has this particular disease or either something's taking place with that particular offender, and that's about it. But we don't diagnose it. I'm not a medical. I just make sure that, again, making sure that the nurses and doctors are secured.
And how long have you worked in that role with the Georgia Department of Corrections?
8 years.
And have you had the occasion to observe patients who were diagnosed with diabetes?
Yes, we have.
And have you observed what physical manifestations may occur in the event that someone with diabetes may be having a particular condition or episode?
When they're going on a certain shock or something like that, and basically we did see how they get seizures and stuff of that nature and stuff, but other than anything else that's severe, mostly the nurses are there to help them give them medication before they go into that certain stage. But if they go into a certain thing, we observe like some of them may have like yellow eyes, glassy eyes of that nature stuff, or having a diabetic a shock or something like that.
Now, are you currently post-certified?
Yes, I am.
And were you post-certified on May 7th of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, were you on duty on May 7th, 2019?
No, ma'am. I was off duty. That was one of my off days. I was off.
So you weren't in uniform?
No, ma'am.
Now let's talk about an incident that you witnessed that occurred on May 7th of 2019. Did you witness a vehicle collision on May 7th, 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did that collision occur?
Clark Howell and Forest Parkway.
And is that location in Clayton County?
Yes.
And are you familiar with that area?
Yes, I am.
And how often would you say you've driven in that area?
Plenty of times. Before the fifth one-way came, I've been in Atlanta mostly 38 years. So, yes.
And do you recall why you were in that area that day?
Heading home. Unfortunately, I was leaving Camp Creek, but there was an incident on 285. I avoided 285, came across, got on highway. Came on Interstate 85, worked my way around. There was another incident on Riverdale Road, Upper Riverdale Road. Worked my way around back towards the airport, where the cargo area is, and that's when I took Clark Howell because they were saying 75, 85. There was an accident over there, so I worked my way around to come down to Clark Howell.
So the traffic conditions were just really horrible on that day.
it was weird. I never seen 3 accidents in one day, but that was taking place and happening.
Now, did you witness the entire incident that occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you tell us what happened during that vehicle collision on Clark Howell and Forest Parkway?
Hey, it's Adam from StreamYard. We have an exciting new feature to announce called Green Room, which is now available.
I am spoiled. Let me tell y'all something. I am so spoiled with YouTube Premium, and luckily I was able to get the student rate. I can't do these ads. Oh God, I gotta pay my bill.
As we were approaching, the light was green. The vehicles were turning to the left, and the truck I know was turning right. All of a sudden, I seen this maroon vehicle come, bam, hit the side of the truck. It lifted up, came to a stop. When I was approaching, coming down, I saw the maroon vehicle, and I saw the gentleman kind of slumped over a little bit. That's what made me pull over to see if he was okay. Then when I got a car, that's when I asked the gentleman, "Is he okay?" And then the truck driver came up next, and then we just basically making sure the gentleman's okay. That's when I called 911.
Mhm.
All right, so just to be clear, can you describe the vehicles that were actually involved in the collision, what they looked like in their color?
Like I said, it was a white 18-wheeler truck. I don't know what the name, I forget the name of the truck, but the company, but the maroon vehicle. And I seen the Jeep, and there was I think there was another car. I think it was a white car on the other side.
So what vehicles actually collided during that incident?
The actually collided was the maroon vehicle and the semi truck.
The Jeep was Hannah's
All right,
car.
so you got out of your vehicle, and tell me what specifically you did once you pulled your vehicle over.
Again, once I pulled over, I went to the driver who was in the maroon vehicle and asked whether he was okay. He really confused, dazed. I was looking at him and said, "Well, do you need any help and assistance?" That's when I call 911, asking if he needed help. And he said, "What happened?" I said, "Sir, you okay?" He said, "Well, what happened? What happened?" I said, "Sir, you was in a car wreck incident." And then that's when again, like I said, the other driver came up. He said, "Is he okay?" He was okay. I said, "Well, let's see if I get in a bus here. You need an ambulance." And that's when I said was recorded on a 911 call. That's when I asked for assistance.
Now, when you made contact with the driver in the maroon truck, what were your observations of him physically?
Physically, the scene that he was, again, out of it. Like I said, I noticed his eyes were a glassy effect. Again, and again, not being a professional, a doctor or anything, just saying that was he going through a diabetic situation or whatever. I didn't smell any alcohol on him of that sort, but I just noted that the gentleman was, out of it.
So you didn't smell any alcohol?
No, I did not.
All right, after you checked on the victim or the driver in the maroon truck, what did you do? Did you check on anyone else?
Just yes, checked on everybody, make sure everything fine. I noticed Miss the other young lady who was driving the Jeep. Asked her if she was okay. She said she was okay because her vehicle went up on the ramp side, and other drivers they were okay. When some of them just left the scene because he avoided. They avoided hitting him. So the only one checking on was her and the truck driver.
Okay, I'm going to hand you what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit 2. Are you familiar with that area?
Yes.
And how are you able to be familiar with that area?
Travel that way a lot. Travel that way, like I said, when making delivery, when I'm going that way of avoiding traffic of a 285 or either 75, 85, take this way to travel out. So yes, I'm familiar with this area.
And is that the area where the incidents would have occurred?
This incident right here, this is Forest Parkway, Phoenix Boulevard. This is where when I came up, when I left the scene that's further down the way, Park Howell and Forest Parkway, that's when I came up and asked what took place in the house because I just seen the scene and they said something took place with that.
You would have traveled that route to get to that location.
Yes, I had to come from Park Howell heading west to get to Lithgow.
All right, y'all know I gotta pause because it's not my video. Hey, dog mom, I'm so happy to see you. So about the ads, y'all, I don't know if when you guys watch my videos, if you get ads, I am um monetized. However, the way that Google does the ads now, we have no control over the amount and the frequency of the ads that they play. So we can't control when they play them and how many they decide to put on the video. It was a time where when you became monetized, you can decide the amount of videos you wanted to, I mean, ads you wanted to put on your videos and when, but we don't have control over that anymore. So I apologize if you guys are getting ads on my videos. I can't do anything about it. But that was one of the reasons why I opted in to do YouTube Premium, just for the sake of not having to be bothered with those ads every couple of minutes. Another thing with those ads too, is based off of CPM. So let's say like on a lot of like the Darrell videos, we'll use him as an example. Darrell brings in a lot of traffic and people tend to watch those videos a little longer. So videos that perform well, they'll put more ads on them. So that's just how it goes. So I think it's a way to get more money out of you to almost force you to get premium. Um, because some people, such as myself, will just say F it and get premium. But I also got premium too because I don't want to be making a video and then I gotta keep pushing skip. Like I'm not doing that. So I just want to let y'all know about that. Yes, it is very aggravating, but it is Google. Um, just trying to get their coin. Okay, Zog Mom, let me try to catch you up quickly. So there was a young lady by the name of Hannah Payne who was 21 years old in 2019. She had a license to carry, and she did so proudly. She claims that she purchased the GUN because she was a property manager or she worked with a property manager where she would go and meet and collect rent and also meet with strangers. She became scared, and so she went and bought a weapon. In May of 2019, Mr. Herring was maybe suffering a diabetic emergency and he caused an accident. He waited for 20 minutes for EMS and police to arrive and they did not show. And so he left, and Miss Hannah Payne decided to pursue him while on the phone with 911. She called 911 two times. She caught up to him. She pinned his car, obstructing him from leaving the scene. I also recently learned that she took her knee and she used that to keep the door shut so he could not physically get out of the car. She physically and verbally assaulted him and ultimately used her gun to unalive him. She claims that it was self-defense. I read somewhere that she was possibly trying to use the citizen's arrest law in her favor. Her lawyer doesn't know what his defense is. He dropped the ball. She wasn't going to get off either way. Her family says that it wasn't her fault. She doesn't see color. She has black friends. Her boyfriend is Dominican. All of those wonderful things. And so I hope that catches you up. So this is Mr. Terry Robinson. He was one of the people at the scene of the accident. He is the one that placed the two 911 calls. And Hannah basically tried to say that he is the one who told her to chase Mr. Herring. when in fact all he did was ask her if he could get the license plate number. So I hope that catches you up, my friends. They do help, Bam, and I appreciate you. But listen, if you get annoyed, I understand. Mhm. I have missed you too, dog mom. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, let's get back into it because I don't want people to get mad. Here we go.
Okay, so this is the corner where the McDonald is, and this is 285 right here.
All right, Your Honor, at this time, the state would move State Exhibit 2 into evidence.
Any objection? Okay, admitted without objection.
In Your Honor, we will also be submitting State's Exhibit 2A for demonstrative purposes, which is just an enlarged photo of the map that was just submitted into evidence, the State Exhibits 2.
Okay, admitted without objection.
And yes, ma'am, we're going to see this, his ownership license.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Oh Lord, not another one. I can't do this.
All right, Mr. Robinson, can you identify the direction where you would have come from the initial incident of the vehicle accident?
I would have, we would have came, I would have came from this direction right here, heading again west to this location of this one. I would have came from the west, heading from east, heading west as well.
All right, thank you. Now, what damages did you observe to the red maroon truck after the accident?
The front end was heavily damaged. Radiator fluid, oil, water was leaking out. As I observed, and everything was heavily damaged to the front.
Was the vehicle operable?
At the time, it wasn't because it was off. But we see it happened that he was able to turn it on and leave the scene. Because I was thinking that as me and the truck driver, this vehicle is not going anywhere. Because after seeing all that on the floor, on the grounds right there, I assumed that, hey, the vehicle was disabled.
Okay, and you stated you did call 911.
Yes, we did. Yes, I did.
All right, and Mr. Robinson, how many times did you call 911 this day?
Twice.
Okay. I'm showing you what has been marked, previously marked as State's Exhibit 3. Do you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The recording of the 911 call.
And have you listened to those 911 calls?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know that this disc is specifically 911 calls that you listen to?
Because I initialed it right here.
And what's the 911 call you listened to accurate as to what the call was on that day?
Of that day, yes.
Your Honor, state would like to move State Exhibit 3 into evidence.
Any objection?
Assuming that as soon as it starts, it's his voice and it's about his 911, no.
Okay, admitted without objections.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
Yes.
Hey, we have an accident up here by Clark Howell and Forest Parkway, Clark Howell and Forest Parkway. A truck, unfortunately hit a vehicle, and I'm looking at the guy now, he's pretty good, he's moving and everything. But we have a truck that's had an accident with a vehicle. Clark Howell and Forest Parkway.
What kind of truck is it?
It's a semi-tractor trailer, and it's a pickup truck.
A red
A
Dakota?
Yeah, red Dakota.
Okay, does the student want to start at the start?
Sir, do you need assistance? Do you need an ambulance? Sir. Yes, sir, it's okay. You need an ambulance assistance? He's not saying anything. Sir, you okay? Yeah.
Okay, if you say that you need assistance, you need an ambulance or no?
All right. So, do you need assistance? Do you need an ambulance, okay? Well, I mean, you hit this, well, are you okay?
We have solutions en route, but this,
Yeah, tell me where. I'm a state officer. I work at a CDC. So, yeah, that's fine for.
did you need airbags?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Nah, I see that.
I'm sorry.
You know, man, I'm talking to the gentleman who drives the tractor trailer truck. And he was, the car swerving in. You know, they know what happened. He fell asleep. So you need to be into that. Don't start it. Don't start it. You're smoking. Sir, just stop. Right there, right there.
Are they obstructing the roadway?
I saw from when I saw it coming out. I saw the car coming. Sorry, he just, yeah, I see because the light was green. Yes. You have to break. You have to break.
Okay, so we have to stop this. We're gonna be out there, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We'll apologize for that.
No, that's okay, thank you.
Okay.
Did y'all have a hard time hearing that? I could recap if you did. So basically, he called 911 and told them, that there was an accident. Mr. Herring was unresponsive. He believes that Mr. Herring had fallen asleep. However, I believe that his blood sugar was low. The medical examiner was unable to confirm if it was hypo or hyperglycemia because your blood sugar does elevate after you pass away. So no one knows. However, it's just left to be assumed because he was an insulin dependent diabetic. But Mr. Terry believes that he um had fallen asleep at the wheel and he was not responsive to any of his questions. What y'all over here talking about? Who is Paige? Is Paige some? Who is that, y'all? Was that just your friend talk, Mom? I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, so that's just all that went on in the first call. So listen to the second one.
Now, Mr. Robinson, why did you continually ask for an ambulance during this 911 call?
Concerned about the victim. He was out of it, back and forth, and like I say, he was, his eyes, the way he was carrying on, how he was looking, and everything. I was concerned, and I felt like I need to have an ambulance there to observe him.
Okay, and after you made that 911 call, what other observations did you have of the victim?
Well, he got the truck. He walked around the vehicle and everything. He was walking around the vehicle, just making sure that, just walking around. But he didn't, make the attempt and do anything strange at that time, well, I can recall. Um, and that was basically it. He was just walking around. And I was talking to the other person on the truck driver and talking to the young lady there. And that was basically it. And we were just waiting for CP Clayton County to appear. Clayton County or either ambulance to come.
Now, after you made the first 911 call, did you have any other communications or conversation with Mr. Herring?
When he started to get, what he got, like he was, well, I'm sorry, he got back into the truck. When I called, he got back into the truck, and I said, "Well, sir, you okay?" Like that, and he said, "I'm ready to go." Like I said, "Sir, you can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere." He was in that, he was in the incident. You can't leave the scene like that. And after that, he just, just sitting there, and I was still talking to them, and all of a sudden, he turned on the vehicle, and I was like, "Well, sir, you can't do anything. You can't move. You can't move." And that's when he put it in put it in drive and floored it. And I was like shocked. I said, "Well, oh, this vehicle moving." I thought it was disabled. And thinking in my mind, I should have took the keys. That came in my mind across. I should have took the keys and stopped. But again, just thinking that the vehicle be disabled, it would have been able to drive off. But right there, that happened.
And once Mr. Herring got back in the vehicle, when did you make the second call to 911?
After that's when he again waiting for them to come, and everything, and saying, "Hey, what's taking us so long? I understand this incident's taking place, but what's taking so long?" And then that's when between that time when I made that phone call, that's when he accelerated off.
Now, how much time had passed between the first 911 call and your second 911 call?
It was like way over 20 minutes because we was trying to figure what's taking so long.
Now, did the defendant and Mr. Herring ever?
Hi, Donna. You found me. Hold on. Wait. Oh, Donna, you found me. I am so happy. Happy New Year. I'm so happy you found me. I am. I was wondering if you got my email. I'm so happy. I just got your email, Miss Donna. I'm so happy to see you.
Speak or communicate with each other while they were on scene?
No, no, she was standing over there by the truck driver. She had communication with him, just talking to him right there. They did make conversation.
And did you secure the area, the scene, to keep people separate and apart?
Well, basically, when I told them who I was and everything, just saying I was off duty officer, state officer, and that was it. Basically, I'm here just waiting for just here to help and waiting for assistance to come in. Basically, we're asking for Clayton County or either the ambulance to come from that. But everybody was standing where they were. They would she or he was not near his the driver.
So they never exchanged
No,
words?
no, not at all.
All right, I'm going to play your second 911.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got so excited because I saw Miss Donna. I love her. But I don't know if y'all heard or not. But okay, so Mr. Terry was waiting with Mr. Herring, and I don't know if you remember, he said that a Jeep was there and a Jeep was on the ramp. However, I do believe that she drove her car onto the ramp to avoid whatever collision she thought that she would have been a part of. But the she that he is referencing is Hannah. And so Hannah was with Mr. Terry both times that 911 was called. And so that is important because later on, she is going to basically allude to the fact that she felt Mr. Terry told her to pursue Mr. Herring. Additionally, when she called 911 the first time, she tried to play it off like she didn't know if 911 had been called or not, which was false because she was standing right next to Mr. Terry the entire time. So now they're going to play the second 911 call.
911 call.
Clubhouse and Forest Parkway. I've been a call earlier, it's been over like 20 minutes now. And no police or no ambulance has shown up at the location. And like I said, it's a ball already told us and it's showed up at this moment in time.
Here, I just took all, we already have someone on there.
The reason why I'm asking that because the driver who caused the accident, I think he's upstairs. Something's going on with him. And so the thing about we're trying to tell him to turn his vehicle off of the smoke, and he's not following the command. So that's why I'm asking to see what it does. He's moving the trigger. He's gonna drive off, man. He's driving off. He's driving off. Take us driving like quick. He's driving off. He's driving off. And he came towards Riverdale Road. Upper Riverdale Road. That's what he said. He's in the red Dakota. Get out the road, sir. Get out the road. Hurry up.
What's that number?
Red Dakota, front end damage to his Red Dakota. Did you get a picture of the driver's license? Oh, man. Let's get out the road. Get out the road. He's headed towards Riverdale Road, heading towards 285 area. Riverdale Road. He's heading heading west on Forest Parkway towards the area. Okay, good. Go. Now the other driver who was in, and she's going to take a picture upstairs. Yeah, he's fled. He's an African. Two vehicles. His vehicle and the truck. Truck is still there.
Now, y'all, if you can hear clearly, you didn't hear him tell her to go get no picture, go get the driver's plate. He said, take a picture, take a picture. She chose to get into her car and follow him. And he just told them that she went to go take the picture. At no time did he say, get in your car, follow him, and take a picture. Okay?
Truck still here. So step on the road. Just step on the road, please. So he's in a red Dakota. It's a 96 model, you can say 97 model. He has the older black gentleman, gray hair, blue shirt on, and front end damage. Had to be front end damage this front. Everybody, I knew he was going to do something. If I was in uniform, I would have taken TV, but I did. So,
Okay. Are you right?
he's heading towards that area. If we get reason like that way, I knew traffic, I knew it was an incident of that Payne opening, and there's another officers on that field. I knew it was RHA 5933. There it was. RHA 5933. RHA 5933.
I got it. Robert Henry Adams 5933.
Yes. got it. She got it. It's all good. Yeah. Hopefully the lady in the Jeep was almost in the residence, so she turned around and she went after him. So she's gonna take a picture of the vehicle and stuff. Can you believe I knew there was something wrong with it, yeah? I knew it. It's crazy. Yeah. But he's not gonna get far. The truck is all over the His truck is gonna overheat. Okay, ma'am, you have my number. Anything, y'all can get me back, but I'm here with the driver of the truck, the semi truck, and everything. So my number, you have it.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, Mr. Robinson, when you stated, take a picture of the tag, who were you talking to?
I was talking to the driver, the Jeep driver.
And do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you describe her by an article of clothing? Well, can you describe them by article of clothing they're wearing, identify where they're sitting in the courtroom?
They're sitting over to my right. She has long brunette hair, and she has a blouse on with a cross.
All right, let the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in open court. Now, when you contacted 911, where was the defendant physically at that time?
Hey, she was standing off to the side. I mean, she was just standing off to the side over there, just really by herself, standing to the side.
Now, when Mr. Herring got in his vehicle, where was the defendant physically standing? Or
Again,
where was she?
Again, standing up to the side. She was over there towards her vehicle and just standing to the side.
Now, when Mr. Herring began to drive off, where was the defendant physically?
At first, I didn't observe where she was. Then I was focusing on him where he was going. And then all of a sudden I seen her vehicle coming to the side. And then that's, again, it's a yes, go get his tag, get his tag. And I was telling her, get his tag, take a picture of his tag.
So was the defendant already in her vehicle
Yes.
when you told her to take a picture of the tag?
Yes, she was moving. Yes.
Now, outside of what we hear on the second 911 call, did you specifically tell the defendant to pursue Mr. Herring?
To pursue, well, again, told her to go get the tag.
So you did tell her to?
No, I didn't tell her to apprehend or cause to or stop the vehicle. Just so to get a picture of the tag. Because at the time I didn't have a picture of the tag.
So did you tell the defendant to stop Mr. Herring's vehicle if she was able to catch up to him?
No.
Did you tell the defendant to use whatever means, including deadly force, to stop Mr. Herring from getting away?
No.
Now, did an officer ultimately arrive to the incident location?
Yes.
Now, do you know how soon the officer arrived after the defendant left the scene?
It had to be like, if I can recall, at least another 10 minutes. Give or take 8 to 10 minutes, because that's when he rolled up. And he said, and I noticed a black vehicle heading fast, SUV heading fast towards on Forest Parkway, heading in the same direction, the Riverdale Road. And then he said, well, there was an incident down there. I said, well, I'm going down here. I'm going to drive down there to see if they caught up with the person and everything. Because I know the vehicles were coming fast. So I did. And that's when I drove down there and I seen the commotion and I got up, I parked my vehicle over towards McDonald's. I said, what happened? What happened? They said, she shot her. I said, who shot who?
You're not object to hearsay.
Uh-oh, hearsay.
Your response, 8800.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, I will sustain the objection and the jury will disregard the
Mm.
hearsay.
All right, let me catch up on these comments. What y'all talking about? Okay. Where am I at? Dog mom, you live close to me. I'm in Ohio. Hey, Joanna. Oh, I'm sorry, dog mom. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry, dog mom. Thank you. You know, they need to run me up. Thank you, y'all. Cold brew, please. I don't do hot coffee anymore. So you know what? I don't know if he had a stroke for sure. I know that the attorney that advised Hannah to get a new attorney said that she didn't believe it and she called the hospital to verify if he had a stroke or not. And the reason why she did was because she said he had a history of not showing up for court, for being late to court, and just being an overall disruption. And so, you know, he says he had one. She says he didn't. I can't find the information because that's, you know, a violation of HIPAA, but it's the same attorney that she's had the entire time. And he's a private attorney that her family hired for her. All right. All right, let's get back to it. So now we gon' this is gonna be cross.
Uh, Do you have cross-examination? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. The jury, they've been sitting for a while. I'm gonna give a quick break and then allow you to do the cross-examination. So it's 4:15.
Hold on,
Again, I
y'all.
know some of you have childcare arranged.
Mm-hmm.
Attorney, how are you going to proceed with cross-examination?
It's Officer Robinson, correct?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. You know who it is.
Getting a chance to hear the 911 and talking about it, you kind of refreshed your memory of what occurred on that day, May 7th, correct?
Yes.
And if I may approach the diagram, you know,
Yes, you may.
and you were talking about an accident that occurred, you say it was right here?
You talking about the accident before or
I'm
after?
talking about the accident with the 18-wheeler that you saw
No, when I saw it happen further up the road.
up here.
Yes,
So that's not an accurate representation of what you saw with the accident with the 18-wheeler, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, and what you saw there, you didn't firsthand see it. You came up on the scene after the fact and saw vehicles there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, at the time
I just want to point out the attitude that this man has. Did y'all catch that? This man is a trip.
of the incident, as they do in all incidents, they asked you to write a written statement, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And as you listen to your 911 tape, did you say anything in there about diabetes or somebody having the diabetic shock or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And if I may approach your Honor.
You may.
And what I hold here is exhibit number 2. If you could look at that and make sure that's a correct copy of what you wrote the day of the accident.
Yes,
Does that appear to be a fair and accurate representation of what you wrote, the statement?
that's what it says,
Does that
sir.
appear to be your signature?
Yes, it is.
At this time, Your Honor, I would tender defense exhibit number 2, which is a written statement from Mr. Officer Robinson on the day of the incident.
Any objection from the state?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
And we don't have a projector here to, oh, we do? Okay, great. I'll present it to the,
Hey, Teresa. Hey, Bluesy News. Uh-oh, did I do something? Uh-oh, sorry. Oh, Lord. Come on.
he sure does. We're gonna have him as a DJ and a light director here in a minute. And in that statement there, do you recall stating that you saw an accident that occurred at Forest Parkway and Clark Howe Road involving a semi truck and a Dodge pickup truck?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you see that later on down there? You say he looked impaired, and you asked him if he was okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he say that he needed any medical attention?
He was groggy like and silent, so he wasn't really answering the question, sir.
Okay. And you told him to stay in his truck, correct?
I did.
And he refused and started walking away.
Start walking around.
Walking around. Was he walking around his vehicle or walking around?
Walking around his vehicle.
Was he looking at the vehicle to see if it was operational, like the tires or the front or the radiation?
Again, he was just walking around the vehicle.
Okay. And what date was this statement written on?
The date is showing right here, sir.
5/7/2019.
That's correct.
Okay. And you stated later on that there was another person who was involved, a white woman. Was she actually involved in the accident? The one you're describing here.
As far as the vehicle is concerned and everything, the vehicle almost hit her vehicle.
Almost
yes.
hit
I
the
mean,
vehicle.
she made a maneuver. What I saw was she made a maneuver and she went up. But I was mostly focused on when he hit the vehicle, hit the semi-trailer truck. That was the one he made impact on.
Okay.
Everybody else, unfortunately, he missed.
Okay. So my question was very specific. Was she involved in the accident being hit by another vehicle?
No.
Okay. And this was on the 7th of May, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, did you have another opportunity to talk to the Clayton County Police regarding this accident?
That day or?
Well, we can go that day. Did you have a chance to talk to the detective or anybody else from Clayton County that day?
Other than after the incident. That's correct.
But do you recall talking to a Detective Haywood or a Detective Moore on May 21st, 2019?
Yes.
Okay. And in this interview?
I'm not sure the day was, but they called me.
If you would like, I can help you refresh your memory with a copy of the transcripts of what was said that day, if it would assist you.
That'll be fine.
You mind?
Oh, he get on my nerves.
Yes, he does.
You may approach.
Thank you. You may take a moment to look at that, refresh your memory.
Dog mama. Oh. Oh, Lord. You want him to read the whole thing or what? What we doing? Lord have mercy. Mm. He told him to look over the statement, but he didn't tell him when to stop or what he should be reading from for the
And Officer Rose, I don't mean to rush you in any form or fashion, but I'm gonna start referencing page number 5, if you'd like to look at that.
you should have said that from the beginning. All them pages. Mm.
Number 5.
Yes, sir. It should be labeled up in the top left-hand corner.
Top
Okay.
left-hand corner.
It'll be, page number 5 is,
Yes, I see it. Page 5.
yes, that's the one I'm gonna start referencing.
Okay.
Why didn't he say that in the beginning? Come on, sir. Lord.
And what am I referencing to, sir?
Okay, if you could, and that's refresh your memory, so you do recall the interview you had with,
The detective?
yes, the 2 detectives. And do you recall in that interview that you said there was a Mr. Kimball, he was the truck driver, and that Miss Payne was present, and that
Okay.
you were speaking to both of them?
Mhm.
And you made a reference that he keeps walking around, Mr. Herring. And why don't you just get back to your truck? Do you remember saying that to the detectives?
It's stated right here, sir. That's what took place.
And
Okay.
you said that everybody was just waiting for the Clayton County Police, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But they didn't arrive as quick as you wanted. And you came back and said, would ask, this guy was not looking good. Asked, what did you mean by that? Do you recall saying that he is getting irritable? And he said to you, what laws have I broke?
Okay.
Do you recall hearing that from Mr. Herring that day?
Oh. I guess if it's in the statement right here, sir, that's not to go by.
Okay. And do you recall what you stated to him, that you caused this incident and you need to stay still?
It's stated right here, sir, that those are meant.
Okay. And you recall thinking that you should have gotten the keys, or thinking about getting the keys from him, but you didn't feel like going through all of this. Do you recall?
It's stated in this information, sir. That's
And do you recall why you didn't want to get involved in all of this?
well, at the time, sir. I was trying to think. I was there at the location. I was trying to observe, make sure everybody was okay. I was trying to apprehend this person when trying to do that particular thing, thinking that this person was just going through what it was going through.
And you were trying to apprehend?
No, I said I wouldn't,
Wasn't trying
again, I
to-
wasn't trying to do anything of that nature.
And that's because you were not in uniform?
If I was again, if I was in uniform or something like that, I wasn't expecting that to take the place and happen. Again, I was expecting that the system would, the Clayton County would arrive and be there on scene to take care of the matter and go from there. I was not trying to do anything else, sir.
But you said that you were trying to keep everybody safe, correct?
Yeah, because cars were moving, people were coming, and so I made sure that I asked some people to move to the side and stay still. That's the only thing, because the only reason why, because this gentleman, I feel something was wrong with that person.
And he was walking around irritable, so he was out of his truck, correct?
If he's walking around, sir, yes.
Okay, but the keys were in the truck, correct?
Well, at the time, I don't know. I mean, here it is. He had out the vehicle. And again, I did not, after that, I didn't say anything else to do anything else, because he was, again, I felt like the vehicle was not able to drive off because the damage was occurred to it.
So because it was smoking and it was leaking a bunch of radiation oil or fluids, it's like, you know, he can walk around all he wants. That thing's disabled, correct?
Mhm.
So you would say it was a pretty strong impact on the 18-wheeler based on the damage of the vehicle.
Based on the damage of the vehicle, yes.
Okay. And then you stated that if you could go to page number 6. You stated that your car is still smoking. You don't want to do that. Is that reference to him getting in that vehicle and driving off?
Pretty much.
Okay. And that he stated to you like, well, I didn't break any laws or anything. Do you recall him saying that to you?
He ain't said that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, well, just looking at the statement right here, yes.
Okay. And now, Mr. Kimball with the driver of the 18-wheeler, he's standing in front of his vehicle, correct? In front of Mr. Herring's vehicle, damaged vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Herring was in there just revving up the engine. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And as he's ramming up, Mr. Kimball's in front of the truck, and you tell him, sir, please, don't drive off of it. Don't move the vehicle. Do you recall telling him that?
Yes.
So what picture is he trying to paint? Is he trying to say that Mr. Herring purposely rammed his car into the 18-wheeler and that he was upset and that's why he got out of the car and looked around the car to see what damages he had so that he could flee the scene if his car wasn't damaged to the point where he couldn't operate it? Because I'm not understanding what any of this has to do with anything. Furthermore, Mr. Terry did the right thing by not trying to use the fact that he's a correctional officer to have any power or control over anyone or try to make a quote unquote citizen's arrest like Miss Hannah did. Um, and so he stepped aside so the police can come in and do what they needed to do. Ultimately, he did what he felt was right. He made sure that Mr. Herring didn't have any visible injuries. He tried to get him to sit down in his car and be patient. He let him know that his car was probably inoperable given the fact that it was leaking and smoking. He tried to get all of the other bystanders to just either go on a sidewalk or get off of the road. Even when Mr. Herring took off, he still had everybody, put everybody before himself by telling them to get out of the way or what have you. So, what are you expecting out of him? He did what he was supposed to do. Is he trying to say that he should have, even though he wasn't in uniform, take his keys and detain him? He didn't want to do that, and he doesn't have to.
Okay. And sure enough, he threw it in the drive and he drove off.
Okay.
Now, how close was Mr. Kimball to the front of that vehicle when he drove off? Do you recall?
A couple of feet away. Because I believe, yeah, just a couple of feet away.
Okay. And what was going through your mind was, oh my God, I don't see how this thing is driving.
Pretty much.
Okay. Now, on the 911 tape, you heard yourself saying, get a picture of that, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you talking to Mr. Kimball or were you talking to Miss Payne?
But at the time, I'm talking to Mr. Kimball. That's the name, Mr. Kimball.
Okay. Were you aware that Miss Payne was on the phone with 911?
I was not aware where she was on the phone. I know I was on the phone with 911.
She did not. Stop right there. She was not on the phone with 911 until she drove off. She was in her car when she called 911. When she made the second call, she wasn't in the car anymore, and that's when she jumped her butt in that car and chased him. You lying. Lies.
See her have the phone to her head, or did you see her with the phone in her hand?
No, I did not.
She was actually in her vehicle driving to go behind the car or behind the truck, correct?
Correct.
And that was you in there saying, go, go, good, go, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that was directed clearly to Miss Payne, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't see her after that because she's going to get a picture of the tag, correct?
A picture.
Yes.
So you never said anything about please don't pursue, or you never said anything like, hey, be safe, don't do this?
Why does that fall on his shoulders? She's an adult. Why does he have to tell her, don't pursue him? Be safe. That was on her to do that. She didn't even have to go get the picture. Y'all called 911 already. You told them you couldn't get the plate. So let them deal with it. It's not your worry anymore. I wouldn't worry about it anymore. Sure, I don't want him to drive off and fall asleep again or whatever the case may be. But, I got to keep myself safe too. So that was her choice to get into her car and chase him. So why do I have to scream and chase her and tell her not to do it and tell her to be safe and all of this other stuff? Nah, you're not going to put all of that on me. But y'all look back here on the right. It's a lady in pink. I don't know who she is. The guy in front of her is Hannah's boyfriend in the white hoodie. The guy in front of him in the brown button down. I don't know who that is. It's not, well, it's a relative. The lady next to the boyfriend with her hands on her mouth is her mother. Now, I don't know if the mother or father are still together. That could potentially be her father right there in the brown shirt. But the man that her mother is married to has long blonde hair. You'll see a picture of him when you watch the video that I upload later when we get off of here. But I just wanted to point that out because they made a big deal about the boyfriend being Dominican and she's Caucasian. And they were trying to say that this is not a hate crime because she dates outside of her race. But let's get back to it.
And you said, go, go, good, go.
She's going to get a picture of the tag.
Sir, you said a second ago that you said, get a picture of the tag to Mr. Kimball, correct?
Sir, at the time, if my memory can recall, everything was moving fast. He was taking the picture of the vehicle as well as she was coming up driving. And so that's what stated, get a picture of the tag.
But you said you didn't see her with a camera in her hand or a phone in her hand, correct?
No, the only one I had a picture of, for as I recall, was Mr. Kimball had his phone in his hand, taking the picture. Was trying to take a picture anyway.
Okay, so just to clarify, so you're telling Mr. Kimball to take a picture, and you're telling Miss Payne, good, go, because you only saw her in her vehicle going.
He ain't say good, go.
To get a picture of the tag, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detectives in that interview on the 21st, after this fact, after you'd seen the other result of the other incident that day, do you recall telling them, next thing you know, she came around and I said, don't pursue, just get his license plate and just come back with the dispatch? Do you recall saying that in your interview to Detective Hayward and Moore?
If it's written down here, if I can recall, but I don't recall that. But if it's written down here, I must have probably said it. I'm not sure. But if it's in this instant, in this affidavit,
But on the day of the incident, you don't recall saying that, or you didn't hear yourself say that on the 911 tape, correct?
no, sir.
Okay. And then you also said that there was a white driver and a black guy was in a truck with him. And I told him, just get the license plate. Was there somebody else present that was not identified? And it would be in your statements right there, just below what I said about, I told her don't pursue.
Well, unfortunately, sir, since it's been a length of time, but yeah, it was. I recall it was another gentleman. He was in the vehicle and he was over there as well. There's another person in the vehicle too as well, because he just pulled, as I recall, another vehicle pulled up.
And you saw them driving off the same direction Miss Payne was going in, correct?
He headed that way.
Okay, and you said to him, hey, get the license plate, get the license plate.
That's pretty much.
Okay. All right. And you said that basically after that all occurred, you kind of drove down to the location that you were identifying on the map there, correct?
Correct.
And that was the identification of an accident that you did not see, but you came up on it later, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you parked over there at McDonald's and you knew, I guess, an officer from Clayton County. And you stated to him that all she was supposed to do is just get the license plate. Don't do anything crazy. Do you recall saying that to Miss Payne on that day?
I don't remember saying that anything to that like that, but when I mentioned to the officer.
Okay. And you said you knew that you told the woman, Miss Payne, not to pursue, but just get the license plate?
I guess in the midst of a statement, I just addressed the situation, but I didn't make, I guess, I made it clear of that. But according to the affidavit, I don't recall making that statement right there. But I just made, again, what I said before, to get the license plate out.
Because in the hustle bustle, the rush of what's going on, you had no clue it was going to end up the way it did, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So then when you found out it did end up the way it did, you came back and you stated in your interview, it's like, it's just not worth it. And that is why you said to Miss Payne, do not pursue him, just get the license plate. You see that in fresh memory in the page 6 of your statements to the detective.
I can't say I recall that right there. Okay. But again, it's written in the statement right here. Yeah.
But you further went on in that interview again and said, after seeing the end result, that this is totally crazy. I told her all we need is that license plate. Do you recall saying that in that interview?
That was a general statement of saying
Right.
that we need a different license plate. We was having a conversation with the detectives and stuff, but I didn't make a statement to her. We was having a conversation. And if it's taken out of content, that I wasn't taking a conversation with the detectives.
And once again, it was kind of a crazy situation, kind of a hit or miss. You need to make a decision quick. And that decision was get that tag. And she was driving to get it. So you were like, good, go. And that's all you really said that you heard from you on 911, correct?
That's what the recording says.
Okay. And then if you could go to page 9. of your interview with the detectives from May 21st, 2019. That first paragraph of what you were saying, if you could refresh your memory.
Repeat what, sir?
If you could just refresh your memory, the first paragraph of when you're responding.
Okay.
Do you recall saying that, please, come on, get back into your truck? You were talking to Mr. Herring, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you were thinking to yourself, my God, what's taking so long? Why are the police taking so long? Recall that?
Yes.
And that's when he began walking up and down close to his car, looking at his car, correct?
Again, he was walking around, sir.
Okay.
I wasn't observing really looking at what he was doing, but just making sure that he was safe.
And then you said something to the fact that hopefully you can elaborate this. After, I guess, he must have saw something get in his truck and he got back in it. I said, what are you doing? He started his truck up again, began revving it up. You begged him to stop.
Okay.
And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Do you
He
recall
ain't
saying
say that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is different than what you wrote from the day of the 7th, correct?
Well, we made the 7 was a brief statement, sir.
Okay.
Just making a brief statement. I wasn't trying to elaborate all too much because what was taking place and happening.
And that brief statement was only regarding the incident that you saw, correct? It wasn't taking into account what happened after.
Yes, the incident that took place and happened at Clark Howell and Forest Parkway.
So all of this additional information of what you thought in your head you were saying came from after seeing the aftermath and seeing what had occurred from that day, correct?
Yes, sir. I couldn't believe what took place and happened. That was my reaction.
And of course, you also recall at the very bottom page of 9 that saying Miss Payne's behavior was, as far well as I say, she was just looking like, wow, what happened? What's going on? Is this guy okay? Is he drunk? Did you at any time during that period of time, the incident of the first accident, ever make an implication or ever say he was impaired or drunk in the presence of Miss Payne or Mr. Kimball?
I don't remember this. Yeah. I recall that we was in the conversation. I don't recall this particular statement right here. I don't recall that other than us having a conversation of what was going on with the particular driver.
But you do recall, whether it's in your statement there, whether it's on the 911, you do recall asking Mr. Herring if he needed an ambulance, correct?
That's correct.
And you asked him on more than one or twice, 2 or 3 times, correct?
In the statement.
And his response sometimes were, I didn't do anything wrong. What laws have I broke? Do you recall that being a response when you asked if he needed an ambulance?
I know he says that he made that statement, and right there, yes. As I'm seeing this report right there.
Okay. And you said also that you talked to Mr. Kimball, and Mr. Kimball was standing by, and when you asked him if he needed an ambulance, he said he was good, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But then he was saying, wow, is there something wrong with this guy? Is he drunk or something? Do you recall him saying that to you?
I believe that was another conversation. Because again, we was in the conversation.
Okay. Now, you come lower on to say, did you notice if Miss Payne had any firearms on her? And you said, no, I didn't see a weapon on her. Recall
You
that.
could have been in a car. Where we at with these questions and comments? I need a little break. Who seems confused? Is it the Mr. Terry or the attorney? Hey, Mika. You don't know what he's saying at all. That's definitely what he's doing. Sick of it. Exactly. Exactly. The only thing on your mind is getting some sugar immediately and a protein, right? That's all. And it's even more scary if you don't have it on you, you know? And then it's just like if you think about the time of day, it's heavy traffic, you know, that was probably oh god, it was just probably hard for him to just comprehend anything. And mind you, there was already something taking place up the road. So all of this going on, and then unfortunately you collide with a car. Your blood sugar is still dropping. You know what I'm saying? I feel so bad. I feel so bad. My sugar has dropped low before, and it is such a scary experience. So, Amanda, from my understanding, this took place before the law was repealed, and I actually just did a video. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to drop in a little while. But in Georgia, there was a time where you can make a citizen's arrest if somebody committed a felony. But when I read the criminal statute or whatever, oh god, I lost my train of thought. When I read the criminal statute, uh, causing an accident is not a felony. I know Glenn, I don't know if he's still in here. He had mentioned earlier that leaving the scene of an accident could potentially be a felony, but I just didn't see that. It would be other crimes, like if you saw somebody maybe trying to abduct a child or in the process of unaliving somebody, somebody maybe selling drugs or something like that, you could safely apprehend them and detain them until the police got there, but you still can't detain them for an unreasonable amount of time. It did not specify what an unreasonable amount of time is. So he could have, as just even just a layperson, if he felt that maybe Mr. Herring was driving under the influence, could have safely detained him just for his safety, but he just didn't want to do that. But even still, his line of questioning to me just seems, like to just, bite off of what you're saying. He's trying to blame him like, "Well, you should have stopped him if you saw that, he could have potentially been drunk or, you saw that he was starting his car back up. You should have did more to try to stop him, or you should not have given Hannah the good go, like he keeps saying, to go ahead and pursue him." But of course, I'm sure we all disagree with that reasoning. So, hey, Bob Kitten, good to see you. Yes, I worked with diabetic patients before. I had a patient one time, her sugar was 29 and she was, oh my gosh, her whole body just shaking, like the bed was shaking. She was shaking so violently. It was very scary. I've had patients to become unresponsive as a result of their blood sugar being low. And it's just a miracle that he was able to be coherent enough to still try to drive, and know to try to get to safety. So I can only imagine how he felt. Your blood sugar's already low, so you're miserable from that, and then you got this person that you don't know coming up being very aggressive with you, and not just verbally aggressive, but actually putting their hands on you and then waving a gun in your face. And then, gosh, we watched his body cam, like, in the front seat of his car, his truck, just watching him, lose his life slowly like that, and he was already, experiencing that diabetic emergency. Just heartless, and she has yet to show any type of remorse. Mhm. Yep. Yeah, it's on purpose. I don't particularly care for him. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because Mr. Terry is getting a little flustered with him um and not being able to answer the questions with confidence. Hey, I'm doing that trial. I'm doing that trial, Elizabeth. It's on the list. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta catch up with these comments. Yeah, she is next after this one because this one was short. So, yep. What do they call that? Savior complex, I think it is. 4 years ago. Right. Yep. People that usually are controlling, when they get weapons, they're anxious to use them. And I want you to think about Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn is the guy who unalived Jordan Davis, I believe his last name is. I remember his neighbors said that he was very excited when he purchased it and basically waiting for an opportunity to use it. So I believe that's what it was with Hannah too. God, I'm behind. Right. It probably was in the car until she started chasing him. Yeah. It's a scary situation for sure. Exactly. Exactly. It is so scary. Especially if you're by yourself, and like I said, if you're stuck in traffic, there's been times, where I've been at work and it's been hours, between a meal and I'll get a little shaky and I'm just like, oh God, I hope I don't faint." Your anxiety is through the roof and you can't expect, someone who's not experiencing something like that to understand, but in your mind, all you know is I got to get to safety, you know? Yeah. Mhm. He is very much so. And I understand all. Mhm. Oh. Okay, I think I'm at the end. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm glad she didn't have to. All right, let's jump back into this. I think we almost done with this because I want to. How long we been on here? Hour 41. Okay.
That.
Yes.
And
I wasn't really looking for a weapon on her, but I didn't recall her having a weapon on her.
and you recall also later on in your interview that you said it was kind of ironic or weird that you saw Miss Payne coming down. Make sure I said this correct.
Yeah, say it correct.
Coming down 285. Y'all were together, and all of a sudden, when you came back on Clark Howell, she was behind you, and that would be the last page number 16.
Yeah, I remember because I said I was coming from Camp Creek, and that's when I noticed I seen the vehicle because I see it was maybe a purple, I believe.
It's pink and black.
Pink,
Yes.
one of the colors on that nature stuff, but indeed, other than that, and it ended up just like any occurrence. You wonder like, well, this other vehicle is here, so that was basically it. I didn't think nothing of other than that, other than saying that yes, the vehicle is right there.
So it's fair to say that with all these accidents going on, you were trying to find an alternative route to get to where you're going, and it appeared Ms. Payne was kind of either following you or somewhere close by trying to find the same alternative route to avoid all the traffic?
I'm not, well, I know I was avoiding trying to get home and make my way up a route that I could feel that I can take this route. And if she was on the same road, she was there.
And you never made a stop on your route when you were going, correct? You didn't stop off
No.
and get gas?
I just made my way around and to where I was and where the incident occurred.
And she was kind of close by, so it's fair to say she didn't make any stops anywhere because she was right behind you or close by you on this alternative route, correct?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And again, you weren't involved in the accident. You only witnessed it from not where the location you pointed out, but the other location, the Clark Howell and Forest Parkway, correct?
That's correct. Clark Howell and Forest Parkway.
And you stayed there till the police came?
I stayed until the police came.
And thank you for your service to know that. And no one else got injured or hurt there at the first location?
No, sir.
And you said that you work at the medical, or you worked around medical inmates, or when you're a correctional officer, you see those that have been diagnosed with disorders, or diabetes, or other medical conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any kind of training in that field, or do you just go off what is being told from the nurses or the medical department?
The medical department, when they state what's taking place with that person. I'm not a medical profession. Just there to make sure the place is secure, and make sure that the nurses and doctors are secured.
So it's fair to say that if somebody didn't identify a medical condition with one of the inmates, you couldn't just ready available give a diagnosis by seeing them.
Oh no.
Okay.
We can't do that.
All right. And do you happen to know what the characteristics are of diabetic coma or shock?
I've seen some things take place, but other than when they tell us that this person is going through, a professional would tell us that this person is going through a shock, or going through a diabetic shock, or going through a heart attack, having a seizure, and that nature of stuff. That's when they tell us what's taking place and happening. The professionals tell us that. I would not ever tell something that person other than something's wrong with this particular person, and that's for the nurse or someone for assistance.
Okay, so it's fair to say that you're not qualified to just see actions of one person to make a diagnosis, correct?
No, sir. Again, no.
Okay.
Any redirect from the state?
He can keep it.
He can use it.
Yes. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to refer to the same interview that Attorney Tucker was referring to on page 4 in your last paragraph. If you want to review that to refresh your memory.
Page 4.
Yes.
The last paragraph.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And when you spoke with Detective Moore and Detective Hayward on May 21st of 2019, you indicated that as you were turning the corner, as an officer, you decided to stop even though you were off. When you saw Mr. Herring, you saw him slumped over. The car came to a creep As the car came to a slow creep, you got out and checked to see if he was okay. You asked him if he was okay and everything like that. He seemed to be a little impaired. I could tell by his face. And working in the infirmary, you kind of get a feel for how these guys look when something is wrong. So on May 21st, 2019, you did inform detectives that you believed that there was something wrong with Mr. Herring at the scene of the first incident.
Yes,
And that was due to your experience in training and working at the infirmary?
yes.
And also on page 11, paragraph 4. You can read that for me and refresh your memory.
Said paragraph 4.
Yes,
Where it says he was walking pretty normal.
correct. You don't have to read it out loud, just review it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
And Detective Moore asked you if you noticed, was he walking okay? Was he walking in circles? Was he stumbling or anything? Or was he walking pretty normally? You notified Detective Moore that he was walking pretty normal, but he reminded you of a person like you would, like from when I was working in the infirmary and stuff. These guys, when you're a diabetic and you go into shock and your mindset, that's what it reminded me of. He kept asking me what day it was and stuff like that. And I said, okay, sir.
Yes.
So was it your observation of Mr. Robinson that he was having a medical condition?
I feel like he was. I mean, again,
Objective speculation. He stated that he was no way qualified to make a diagnosis of an individual. If it's a layman's opinion, that's fine. But the state's asking to speculate if this person was having a diabetic shock or something, dealing with diabetes, and he's not qualified to give an assessment of that.
Yeah, I believe my question was he suffering from a medical condition? I never stated what that condition was.
And once again, he doesn't have the medical training, and as he stated before, unless somebody has told him what the condition is, he's not qualified to identify it or categorize it.
And if I may, Your Honor, I believe Mr. Robinson testified that he's not qualified to diagnose, but he has experience as in working with the Georgia Department of Corrections for 8 years in the infirmary, that if a nurse identifies what a person is going through, that he has witnessed that over a long period of time, that he would be able to identify it as is currently occurring. Not a diagnosis, but he can recognize those symptoms of the person going through that particular condition. And he would be qualified to state if that's what he observed on May 7th of 2019.
Period.
I just wanted to be a layman's person. He's not an expert. He's not.
She didn't say he was one.
Trained. A layman's opinion.
So I'm gonna overrule the objection. He can testify as to his observations. He's not giving a medical diagnosis, so he can testify as to what he has observed that led him to his conclusion.
Period.
So based on your observation of Mr. Herring on that day and your experience in working in the infirmary at the Georgia Department of Corrections.
Now wait, y'all. Look at this man. Look how unprofessional he is. He's swinging in his chair, rolling his eyes, a smirk on his face. I can't.
Did you believe Mr. Herring was suffering from a medical condition?
yes.
Now, just to be clear, when you yelled, take a picture of the tag or get the tag, the defendant was already in her vehicle, correct?
Yes.
Mm.
The defendant was already in motion.
Things were, again, happening pretty fast. Once he started Yes.
So you didn't direct the defendant to get in her vehicle,
No, I didn't.
and you didn't direct her to get in her vehicle and go get the tag.
Mm-mm.
You didn't say get in your vehicle and go get the tag.
No, I did not.
The defendant was already in motion.
Yes.
Now, we talked about defenses, I believe, Exhibit 1, which was your written statement. Defendant's Exhibit 2, which was a copy of your written statement.
Yes.
Now, how long have you been an officer or correctional officer?
At that time, that was in my 4 years, in my almost about fourth, fifth, going on for 5 years at that time.
And when you wrote this statement, did you believe that there would be further investigation in this case?
Yes.
And so you would have written what you believed to be, would have been important in what happened at that time, correct?
Yes.
With the understanding that you would still speak with other investigators in this case?
Yes.
And you did do that on May 21st of 2019?
Yes.
And you recalled everything that you remembered from the incident that occurred on May 7, 2019 in that particular interview?
Yes.
And you would have given them all the information that you would have recalled that happened on May 7th of 2019?
Yes.
And was there anything significantly different from your written statement and what you provided to the detectives on May 21st of 2019?
Basically, everything what was written there and written here, I mean, it clarified what was said and done, or what I can recall at that time period.
So you're stating that
Oh,
the
Lord.
person that walks around irritable and is asking, did I break a law? Am I breaking the law? Those are signs of diabetes or diabetes shock.
I guess,
Wow.
no, I didn't state that.
Okay, but that's what you saw, correct?
Again, sir, as he was making a movement, I felt something was wrong with this individual. I didn't state that.
When did you find out that there was a possible diabetes or diabetic shock? When did you find out about that?
I didn't state that, sir.
I'm asking you when you did find out about it. Did you hear from the media? Did you hear from the detectives? Did you hear from investigators?
No, sir, I didn't hear from no one that.
So you never once heard that there was a possible diabetes that was involved in this?
No, sir.
Okay, so then your contention is when you see somebody walking around irritable, saying, I didn't break any laws, I'm going to drive off, see something in his vehicle, crank it up, and almost run over Mr. Kimball, that's a sign of diabetes or diabetic coma?
No, sir.
What?
Again, I didn't make that statement. His look and the look he had on his face, I didn't say that this person was doing the following thing, saying they was going through that. I just said the look he had on his face remind me of something like that.
But you refreshed your memory from the statement you gave on the 21st, correct? And you remember on page 5, you said he was walking around irritable. And further on in that interview, you said he was asking, I didn't break any crimes. What laws did I break? Do you recall those?
Yeah, yes.
And that's all stuff that you saw him doing, correct?
Yes, sir. I was right to stand by him. That's why I was trying to tell him that when I made in the statement right here.
And you were telling him not to get back in his vehicle, correct?
At the time, because of the vehicle doing what it was doing. Yes.
Okay. And you're stating that those are characteristics from your experience training and seeing individuals in the infirmary, that is signs of a diabetic shock or coma?
No, sir. Again, I can't make those particular diagnosis. Again, that remind me of something like, again, the facial features that remind me of. I did say that, again, that would remind me of.
Now, you're post-certified, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
And when you do all this training for post-certification, you're very clear about writing reports, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that anything is important that you feel is important, or you think might be important down the road, You need to memorialize it in your report, correct?
We try to do those particular things. Sometimes hit and miss.
And you say you didn't put stuff that was important in your statement because you figured somebody would follow up with it.
Well, again, when writing reports, sir, you give the details of then later on there will be, hopefully there will be investigations afterwards.
So you anticipated there was going to be an investigation after you wrote your report and after the police showed up to take care of that accident.
Which accident you're saying?
The one that you witnessed, the only one you witnessed, the 18-wheeler, Mr. Herring.
This generally happens when the incident occurs. They do investigations. I assume that's what takes place and happen. Most of our officers, anything that takes place, there's an investigation afterwards.
Now, you started off your testimony here with a diagram that you didn't give the exact location of this accident, correct? That you witnessed.
The diagram showing there is where the other incident occurred. I stated that I came from the other incident down to incident that took place afterwards.
You don't recall being asked, is this where the 18-wheeler and the truck had an accident?
We said that the accident was occurred at Forest Parkway and Clark Hollow. That's what I stated. The car incident happened with Forest Park and Clark Hollow. As I looked at that particular, and I stated that this is the McDonald's, this is where 285 and everything. I didn't state that particular incident happened there. The first incident happened there. The first incident happened at Clark Hollow and Forest Parkway.
And you didn't see the second incident. You just came up after it, correct?
Came up afterwards.
And you said that I asked previously if you saw that she had a phone in her hand or that you knew she was on 911 on the call when Miss Payne was driving her Jeep past you.
I didn't see her on the phone.
But you felt compelled to say, good, go, because you were on the phone with 911 trying to get the tag, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and if somebody who's identified themselves as a correctional officer is asking somebody to take a picture of the tag and here somebody else is going to get the tag, says, good, good, go. You don't think that was a form of encouragement?
To go
get
get
the tag or take a picture of the
take
tag?
a picture of the tag. Again, I didn't have a picture of the tag. I was just, again, they would need a picture of the tag until afterwards. That's when Mr. Kimball said, hey, here's a picture, here's a picture. And that's when we then were able to give them clarity of the tag.
But at that moment, you felt it was important to get a picture of that tag or to get some way to identify that vehicle, correct?
Yes, because the person was fleeing the incident.
And this person was fleeing the incident, having walked around his car, having walked around asking about braking laws, and appeared, as you said, irritable.
Yes.
And at no time did you feel that you needed to take the keys out of the truck because you thought the truck was not going to move or was disabled.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Okay.
Hey, Shonda. Hey, Shonda. So this happened May of 2019, and I'm left to assume that they were probably backlogged, and then we had COVID, and so I think they're just trying to get caught up. Nope. They offered her a plea. She didn't want it, and so here we are. The plea deal was for the same thing that it matched the sentence that she got, but at least she wouldn't have had to go to trial. She was gonna do time either way. Mm, 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 mm. Right? He is nice looking. Not all of them. Not all of them. You got some good ones. You have some good ones that will really fight and do the homework and genuinely care and take their job seriously, but you have some that yeah. Yep. Yep, she's a grown woman. She made the choice on her own. All right, y'all. So, we can do a little more. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Hold on a second. Let's do. I wanted y'all to hear the 911 dispatchers or she's a supervisor. Oh, here we go with this ad. Lord, I can't do these ads. I bet you I'm gonna pay my little bill. Hold on, let me go to somebody was nice enough to add timestamp. So this will be the 911 supervisor who will go over what the proper protocol was for the 911 dispatcher, so on and so forth. And then I was gonna do Tiana, her testimony, but I think it's too lengthy. It's over an hour. I don't have that to do. Um, we can listen to Detective Rolling. His testimony is about 9 minutes or so. And then if y'all want to listen to the lab tech, we can do that. And then I think that's it for the witnesses, and because I think she takes the stand day 3 or 4, I believe. But let's listen to this real quick. It's not long at all. Uh oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay.
You may be seated. Thank you. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you were patient enough to allow us to work through the technical difficulties. We're up and running, and Attorney Chief Assistant, you may continue.
At this time, the state is going to publish the first 911 call of the defendant, which is State's Exhibit 4A.
Okay.
County 911, what is the location of your emergency? Yes, ma'am. I'm just on Forest Parkway and Courthouse Highway. There was just an accident. I'm sure they've already called, but I just witnessed it, and I just wanted to make sure that I guess, called the police as well in case they didn't. All right. Were they on? What were the kind of vehicles involved? It's a red Dodge pickup truck. I think it's a Dakota, and a semi was involved. And the red Dakota ran the red light and slammed into the side of the semi. It doesn't look like we received any reports on it yet. Okay, yeah. In the call here. Okay. Red Dakota, and were they on Forest Parkway or on Courthouse? then try to assist them. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And based on your review of State's Exhibit number 4, were you aware that the defendant then made another phone call from that same phone number to 911 a bit later? Yes. Okay. We could publish State's 4B.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on Clark Howell and First Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has showed up yet. But I never knew the mention that the guy that caused the accident, who ran the red light, is drunk. And he got back in his car, and he's looking like he's trying to drive away. Okay, can you get his tag number? Hold on, he's driving away. It's a red dot Dakota. What's something? Hold on. Okay, so he is going west, down Fort down Fort Parkway. Okay, so you couldn't get the same number? No, but I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, no, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. I understand.
I just have a question real quick. So the first time she called, I think she was in her car. And she said that she didn't know if anybody else had called the police, but she was going to call. And then she calls back 20 minutes later, but you just heard she was running to get into her car and try to catch up to him. Where were they at? And why was she out of her car? And where was he waiting at? So was this at the original? This had to have been at the original scene. So she must have gotten into her car. I'm trying to make sense of this. Did she get into her car for the first call to report what she already knew was reported, got off the phone, and then called them back when he left? It had to have been. He left. Maybe that's when he left the scene of the original of the accident, and that's when she chased him. But I didn't hear anybody else in the background. I didn't hear Mr. Terry telling her to go. I'm a little confused with this timeline and where she is right now.
I understand 100%. I'm just going to get the tag number, nothing else. But I'm going west down West Parkway. And I'm close up to him. I mean, his radiator is busted and everything. I honestly have no idea how he's driving his truck the way that it is.
I'm not on my parents' health insurance anymore, and I work for myself doing a bit of everything. So I found a plan for just $30.
Okay. It is a Georgia Tag license plate is R8A as an apple 4859. So if you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to you guys now. Okay, well, there's a police officer there, but he is drunk. I'm sorry that I'm here to tell you I'm not gonna follow him. Because he is going to cause another accident. So I won't stay behind him until the officer gets to us, but until then, I'm not moving. Yeah, no, that's what I want. I want you guys to go back to the location where it happened, and an officer will be out there
It's making sense to me now what she thought. So they told her to go back to the original scene. She says, well, she first says that I'm not going I'm going to stay with him. I'm not going to not chase him or not follow him, right? And the 911 dispatcher doesn't say anything. She basically stays quiet. And then Hannah goes on to say that she believes that he's drunk, even though there's a police officer nearby. She's going to stay with him. She thinks he's going to cause another accident. The dispatcher tells her to get back to the scene of the original crime. I think in her demented mind, she felt like that meant, okay, you're giving me permission to detain him so that either A, I'm going to force him to go back to the scene of the crime, or I'm going to hold him per the law. This is a lawful citizen's arrest. I can detain him until the police make it over here since you guys haven't made it here yet. And that is why she feels that what she did was lawful. Now, the part that makes it illegal, and I know y'all don't want to hear it, is when she became verbally and physically aggressive with him. The laws had not changed at that time. And so to me, the way I interpret this call is that she was calling to get permission by saying that he's drunk. I'm afraid. Can I have your permission to detain him? Because either way, I'm not going to stop following him. So either you're going to give me the go ahead to detain him until somebody gets here or what? That's the way it sounds to me.
Ma'am! Yes. Ma'am! He just pulled the trigger at my gun in my hand. Why do you? Ma'am, you are not supposed to follow him. He hit my car! Okay, you got the tag number. Down the street. Tell him to come up here now. He pulled the trigger on my gun after he attacked me. Tell the police officer to turn around.
Now, what doesn't make sense to me is if the police officer was that close to you, what was all of this for? You just killed this man and you want someone to go and flag down a police officer to tell them what? I found out that the type of firearm that she had, it was like a two-step type of thing. So, and I'm probably not saying it correctly, but it ain't the first time. Somehow she was able to take her hand on the barrel of the gun, and that was step one. And I guess that was the safety feature. And then she would be able to just quickly tap on the trigger. So she had already did step one when she approached his car. She knew what she was doing. What did you go to his car with this gun for? If you are just detaining someone, let's just say you're a manager at a store, right? Somebody in there stealing their ass off. You decide, okay, I'm going to detain them until the police gets here. You can't hold them hostage or with a gun or a knife and say, stand still or I'm going to shoot you because you stole these Frito Lays out of aisle 7. That's not how that works. It doesn't say anywhere in the law that you can hold somebody with a pistol or a knife or a taser or pepper spray or anything else until the police get there. So I am trying to make sense of all of this. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no justification. She only called 911 so they can quote unquote try to cover her. That's all that was. just like she just tried to use Mr. Terry and make it seem like he gave her the green light to go and pursue Mr. Herring. That's all this is. You called 911 to cover your ass. That's all. That's all this was. But it backfired on you. It backfired on you.
Come up here immediately. I now need paramedics. I'll stay. When he in. Can you say what happened?
Oh, Lord.
Okay, ma'am, where are you guys located now? Ma'am. I don't know. I did. No, I don't. Okay, ma'am. There's a police officer here now. Okay, speak with them. All right.
Judge McCaskill,
Yes.
Who's in here? Hey, John. I didn't forget about you, John. I just been crazy busy. I got your email though. I didn't forget about you. Hey, Maya. What are you talking about? All right. Oh, I guess they're having a sidebar. Hold on.
consistent with what the 911 operators will be trained to do.
Yes.
Your Honor, if I could clarify, she is the individual that answered the phone, correct?
No,
Okay, then any kind of comments that she makes that was said, I think would be hearsay.
Okay, I need your response, attorney.
Judge, it's not hearsay, the recording is already in evidence. We also filed a notice of business record, which she testified to a business record, which is the exception to hearsay. And we put this defendant on notice that we were going to tender these 911 calls under the hearsay exception of business records.
I'm just, if she goes out of the line of trying to go exactly what the intent was, I mean, she talked about what's on it, but if there's any intent of what was meaning by these comments, what was said on it, I would say no. I would object at that time.
Okay, so I'm gonna overrule the objection because when she was qualified as a trainer and as a supervisor, and the testimony that she's given is consistent with what the training would be. So I will overrule the objection.
Thank you, Judge. And again, not asking why you think a particular person said something, but are those types of instructions that go back to the scene, don't chase, don't follow, things along those lines, are they consistent with the training that is provided to the 911 call takers?
Yes.
Thank you. And Judge, we have no further questions of this witness at this time, subject to our request at the bench to republish the 911 calls once the audio in this courtroom is fixed and everyone will be able to hear it.
And during the bench conference, I did indicate that I would grant the request to republish so that everything that needs to be heard from the tape can be heard. So once, hopefully by lunchtime, the issue will be resolved and we'll be able to republish it.
And there'd be no objection.
Correct.
We'd like to use it too.
Attorney Tucker had no objections to it. So the record will reflect that.
All right, if you could say your last name again, so I don't miss it.
Super.
Super, okay. And you stated there that there was training that was given to talk about not to chase or to stay back. Um, when was this training given?
That is our training that we go by whenever we hire new employees. They go through an academy and a classroom, and it's usually 3 to 4 weeks before they start taking live phone calls.
And the employee that took this call, how long have they been working there?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Okay. But you're sure they took the training, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And based on your hearing this call, have you ever sat as a 911 operator?
Yes.
Okay. And as hearing this call, it sounded kind of calm compared to a lot of 911 calls, correct?
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that? You didn't. So you're saying that 911 calls don't have people that are excited yelling or?
They do, but you just never know, when you pick it up, who's going to be excited or who's going to be calm.
Okay. So based on your experience as a 911 operator and hearing this audio, you're saying that didn't sound very calm, the interaction back and forth? Both the first and the second, at the beginning of the second?
Between the operator and the caller, yes, until the end.
Okay. So, and in the training that they get, if an individual says, hey, I'm hopping to my car to go get a tag and that's it, they're told to say, our policy, what we learned is not to chase and say it one time and not say anything else.
We tell them that they can do it if they feel safe to do so, but we don't want to do anything to put them in danger nor the public.
So being on the other side of the phone, how would they know, how would an operator know if somebody's going to be safe or not?
If you're following a car going down the road during rush hour, I wouldn't think that would be safe.
Poly mailers are a great way to package your products. And with Sticker Mule, ordering custom poly mailers has never.
Okay. Would the level of their voice or intensity of the voice give an impression as when you were a 911 operator? Would that give you an impression that it might not be safe or it might be safe?
The voice that we use?
Yes.
We are supposed to be calm.
Oh, the voice, I'm sorry, let me clarify. The voice that you hear coming in on the 911 call. If it's more excited, would you, as a 911 caller, believe that it's maybe not as safe versus a calm conversation?
No, we have people that call about a dog being in their yard that are hysterical. So you really can't gauge how somebody is versus the way they're speaking.
And so you stay calm no matter what? Okay. And in this particular one here, as the conversation pursued, she said, I'm going to go ahead and get the tag. And it was stated that, the policy is not to be safe. We want you safe. You heard that, correct?
Yes.
And then you didn't hear anything else until she gave the tag number, correct?
Correct.
How many times have they trained to say, we don't want you to follow this car, we don't want you to do this? How many times are they supposed to say it in their training?
We tell them that. If they say they're going to continue to do it, then we just try to get as much information as we can.
So you're saying that the policy is to tell them not to follow or not to chase, but to be safe. But it's not to reiterate that or come back and say, hey, our policy is this, don't do that.
We would tell them not to do it.
One time, two times, three times?
And then we're listening.
Why does it matter the amount of times? Again, this is an adult. That's on you if you don't know how to follow directions. That's not on me. This defense attorney is putting everybody else on trial except for just seeing it for what it is. And I understand he has a job to do. He has a job to do. He has a job to do. I understand that. I'm not taking that away from him. But this line of questioning makes no sense. We're not going anywhere with this. It's not 911's fault that she took matters into her own hands. She knew not to pursue him when she left. She chose to do that.
to get other information, because a lot of our information comes from hearing what's going on in the background.
So how effective is it to tell them don't chase if you're waiting to get information from them?
We tell them not to chase, and then that's on them if they do chase. I don't know what the difference is between telling them once or telling them 5 times.
Right.
Okay, help me understand. So it's a policy for y'all to say it, but it's not a policy to try to force them not to, or try to convince them not to?
It's our job to take the call and put the information in, and what a person does on their own will is what they do.
So it's a policy to
Exactly.
protect 911.
We told her to go back to the scene, which
After,
is in our policy.
After getting the tag number, correct?
If they can safely get the tag number, we'll take it down
I'm
for the
specifically
officers.
talking about this audio here.
Yes.
It was after you got the the tag number, that you said, okay, now I'd like you to go back to the location, correct? Or the individual on the 911.
I thought she told her before.
Okay.
Before she got the tag, and then after.
Would you like me to refresh your memory?
Sure.
Okay. Or better yet, okay. If we could just hold that up.
I'm on Park Howell and First Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has shown up yet. But I
If I may approach it, Your Honor. These are the transcripts of the 911 first. And this is the second. And what I'm specifically asking is, can you give me this page and the next page to refresh your memory?
Okay.
And then I'll ask questions about that.
Okay.
Okay, so from hearing the audio and looking at the transcripts of the 911 tape, it was said one time, please ma'am, don't chase, and nothing else was said until the tag was given to him, correct?
Correct. But she did tell her that we don't want her to chase him. She asked her if she could get his tag number, and when she advised that she was chasing him, they said not to do that.
She never
Exactly.
advised she was chasing them, correct?
She said she's catching up to him.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that's when they told her that we did not want her to chase him.
And then what was said after that?
That we wanted her to be safe.
And what was said after that?
She said she understood, and we told her that it was not safe for her to chase him.
Excuse me.
The end.
I understood. Okay. So in those conversations, did you say do not chase, or did it was said one time and then it was a radio pause or audio pause until she gave the number, correct?
She said, we actually do not want you to chase him. Your defendant said, I understand. And then we said, it is not safe to chase him. So we said it twice.
Mm.
Okay. And
oh, look, wait. Oh, God, wait, y'all. Oh, I hope I didn't push the wrong button. Oh, I done messed up. Hold on, y'all. I need y'all to see this prosecutor's face. That was hilarious. I'm so sorry y'all pushed the wrong button. Wait. Hopefully it goes back to where we were.
Here's how I made myself control my world using Adobe Premiere Pro. First thing I did was film 2 plates. One of
Yeah. Oh, crap. Hold on, y'all. Y'all got to see her face.
The voice that we use,
Yes.
we are supposed to be calm.
Oh, the voice. I'm sorry. Let me clarify. The voice that you hear.
Look at her face.
If I may approach it, Your Honor.
Watch her face, y'all.
20 minutes ago for an accident and no one has shown up yet. But I never knew.
Wait, did I go back too far? I'm sorry, y'all.
Did you say do not chase, do not
Look,
chase? Or
look
did
at
you
her
say
face.
it one time and then it was a radio pause or audio pause until she gave the number, correct?
She said, we actually do not want you to chase him. Your defendant said, I understand. And then we said, it is not safe to chase him. So we said it twice.
Okay.
Look.
And upon that, what happened? What was said after that?
After that, the defendant advised that she understood 100%.
Okay.
And that she was just going to get his tag number.
Mm-hmm.
Play the entire one.
Play the whole thing. Let's go.
County 911, what's the location of the emergency? Yes, ma'am. I'm on Clark Howell and Forest Parkway, the intersection. I actually called about 20 minutes ago for an accident, and no one has shown up yet. But I never knew the person that the guy that caused the accident, who ran the red light, is drunk, and he stopped me back in his car, and he's looking like he's trying to drive away. And can you get his tag number? Hold on, he's driving away. It's a red Dodge Dakota. Okay, so he is going west, down Fort Parkway. Okay, so you couldn't get the same number? No, but I'm catching up to him right now. Okay, now we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to stay. I understand. I understand 100%. I'm gonna get the tag number, if nothing else. But I am going west down Fort Parkway. And we'll go stuff to him. I mean, his radiator is busted and everything. I honestly have no idea how he's driving his truck. The way that it is. Okay. It is a Georgia Tech license plate is R8A as in Apple 4859. Okay. So if you can go back to that location where the incident happened, it's because someone is actually on the way to you guys now. Okay, well, there's a police officer there, but he is drunk. I'm sorry, but I'm here to tell you I'm not gonna follow him. Because he is going to cause an accident. So I'm gonna stay behind him until an officer can get to us, but until then, I'm not moving. Yeah, no, that's what I was.
All right, man. So you heard the conversation again, and that appears that in that conversation, when they're asking, did you get his tag number? What did it sound like she was doing? Did it sound like she was moving forward or running with the phone or trying to get to her car? What did it sound like to you?
That's speculation. That's what
Yep.
it speculates what the defendant was doing.
Okay, and I'll rephrase it.
Okay, so I'll sustain the objection.
In your experience as a 911 operator, when somebody's on the phone and breathing heavy or sounding as if what you just heard, in your experience, what would you conclude is going on?
I mean, I couldn't come to a
How
conclusion.
would she know? She on the other line.
Okay. So, but during that period of time that was elapsing, is it the training that is told to say, man, do not chase? Is it told when they say you didn't get the tag? Is it training that they tell you to say, don't chase at that time?
When we find out that they are pursuing, that's when we let them know not to do it.
Okay, so when they asked, so you couldn't get the tag, and she said, kind of, no, I didn't. At that time, you're supposed to say, do not chase, be safe.
If she said she was following the vehicle, then yes.
Okay, and then from that point, and I don't know if you caught it, I was timing it over here. There is a gap, a significant gap of about 37 seconds. That radio contact with her and 911 is just blank. Is that the policy, just to kind of sit back and hear and wait? Or is it to go ahead and say, our policy is not to chase. Please do not chase, our policy. Or what happens? What does training teach you?
I can't say what the operator was doing. I wasn't there. I could say what I think happened, but I can't say for sure what was going
But
on.
I'm asking about training, the training that they go through to be able to handle calls like this. In the training, are they taught to, if there's a gap or you hear that somebody chases, to continuously tell them, do not chase? Or is it the policy to say, well, let's see what happens?
We don't continuously tell them. We tell them, we wait for them to talk back to us. But again, I'm not the one that took the call, so I can't speculate on what was going on in that dispatcher's brain.
And I'm not speculating about that. I'm asking about the training. You said every one of them gets this training. The training, are they taught to continuously tell them not to chase, or you say it once and then you sit back to see what happens?
Judge, I'm trying to give some leeway, but he's asked this question about 10 times.
I've not heard a yes or no.
Wait, all
10 times.
Okay, just be reminded that we have a court reporter that cannot record two voices at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you allow the objection to be complete, Attorney Tucker.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And for the official, the objection is asked and answered.
right, and your response, Attorney
Your
Tucker.
Honor, I have not heard, I'm asking specific yes or no questions. I have not heard a response of yes or no and then an explanation. I've heard someone trying to say speculation, but I'm asking for a yes or no, and I've not heard that.
Okay, so I am going to sustain the objection. I believe she has answered the question several times. So the objection is sustained.
Okay.
Sustained.
I've been thinking a lot about the unimaginable situations families in Afghanistan, Syria,
I
and
just
other
can't
crises.
take it.
All right, so the gap of, say, what I estimated was 37 seconds. During that period of time, you did not hear on this tape her say, do not chase during that gap, correct? And the gap would be from when the 911 was over talking, when she was talking and you couldn't clearly hear what was being said, but it does appear that she says, I understand. And kind of in the background, the other operator saying, it's not safe to chase him. In that gap from that point on, did you hear the 911 operator say, do not chase, do not chase?
No.
Okay. And you stated earlier, and I wrote it down, you stated earlier that only certain people can accept or hold these 911 tapes, correct? In the beginning of your testimony.
In our department, only certain people can access them.
Okay, and who is Tim White?
He used to be the open records, the person that pulled the open record tape, the audio.
Okay, and during this period of time when this audio was taken, was he over all that at that time?
I don't remember.
Have you ever met Tim White?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you stated earlier too that it cannot be altered or changed in any form or fashion, correct?
Correct.
Has there ever been an occasion while you've been working there where there's a gap and it could not be explained in the 911 tape? A gap like just a radio silence or a clip that's missing or a gap?
I mean, there have been times when the system has failed.
And when the system fails, does it leave a gap in the 911 tape or how does it fail?
We wouldn't have audio. We wouldn't have an audio recording. I don't work with IT, so I'm not sure how to answer some of these questions.
And I don't want you to get
Right.
down the road that you're not familiar with, but I'm just asking. So those times have occurred when there's been some kind of gap or some kind of alter to the 911 tape because it was not recorded, correct?
It hasn't been altered. There's been times when the system would malfunction and it wouldn't record anything, but not when somebody was on a phone call.
Okay. And to your knowledge, on that one tape, there was no notes that it didn't catch the audio, it didn't record the audio on that second call.
No, everything recorded.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Any threats from the state?
No additional questions.
Okay. All right, make this witness be excused.
All right, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to listen to a little more or y'all want to call it a night? We've been on here for 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's up to y'all. Let me look and see what's left on day 2. Day 2 still has, oh, excuse me, Detective Rolling. He was on the stand for about 9 minutes. And then there's another witness who is the state crime lab print examiner. She was on the stand for 15 minutes. And then the other lab print examiner was on the stand for 11 minutes. So it's up to y'all what y'all want to do. I can play this detective if y'all want. This is short, and then we can call it a night. And then tonight, I'm dropping a video. Tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get a video done, the interrogation, and then Monday night, if y'all want to, we can go live and do. I know Amanda, she left, but she wants to do when Hannah was on the stand, so that can be Monday night. But if y'all want to knock out like 2 more that are real quick, we can. Let's say detective. I could do a click on detective rolling real quick. It was short.
If you would raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give before the court in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
You can take your hand down and have a seat. And since you're keeping your mask on, if you would just make sure you're enunciating well enough for the court reporter and for the jurors to hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you would please state and spell your name.
Detective Darnell Rowling, DARNELL with the Clayton County Police Department
And how long have you been with the Clayton County Police Department?
for over 12 years.
And have you gone through the training to become a post-certified law enforcement officer?
Yes, ma'am.
And what does that mean?
That means that I've met all the requirements for the state of Georgia to be certified as a law enforcement official.
And that's what gives you arrest powers?
That is correct, yes.
And what is your job description? What was your job description back in May of 2019?
I was in the criminal investigation division for the Clayton County Police Department, where we investigate all sorts of crimes such as persons and property.
And the criminal investigations division, would that be what lay people would think of as where the detectives are?
That is correct, yes.
So not the uniform officers that ride out in the patrol cars, but the detectives that come later.
That is correct, yes.
And in the course of your work at the Clayton County Police Department, were you asked at some point after May to obtain a known DNA sample from the defendant in this case, Hannah Payne?
Yes, it was.
And did you perform that task on November the 26th of 2019?
I did.
What did that entail?
Pretty much entailed me applying for a search warrant affidavit for buccal swab, or what is known as DNA collected from the defendant at the time.
And how do you perform the swab? What do you do?
There's a protected Q-tip or swab, if you will, enclosed in a clear plastic seal. That seal is not broken until I've met with the defendant explain the scenario or the situation to them. I then break that seal and insert into the mouth or to the jaws and inner lining of the mouth to collect DNA.
And once you've inserted the swab into the mouth and done the collection, what happens next?
It is then placed back into the seal and resealed again and sent off to the crime lab.
And did you follow that procedure in this case?
I did.
And once the swab is placed into the container that it came in originally, is that container then bagged for evidence?
Yes, it is.
I've already shown what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit number 5 to Defense Counsel. May I approach the witness? Yes, showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 5. If you could look at both sides to see if you recognize State's Exhibit number 5.
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you recognize State's Exhibit number 5?
It has my initials and signature on it, along with the date and my information attached.
And when you, after you swab the defendant in this case, place that swab into the bag that is labeled as State's Exhibit number 5, did you alter, delete, mess with, tamper with, do anything at all to the swab of the defendant's mouth?
No, ma'am.
And other than the fact that the State's Exhibit number 5 has been opened by the crime lab for testing, is this container in the same or substantially the same condition as when you sealed it?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, the state will tender State's Exhibit number 5.
Any objection?
No objection.
No further questions. No further questions.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, I'll be very brief on this, Cheryl.
Okay.
Now, Investigator Rowland, is that the best way that you followed, the best way to collect DNA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was there anything out of the ordinary or something that occurred while you were collecting that would have compromised it?
No, nothing at all.
Okay. And was Ms. Payne very cooperative when that occurred?
Very cooperative, yes.
All right, Nick, go first.
Oh, he is so rude. All right, so that's it for him. I think that's it, y'all. I'm not gonna do the entire trial. Just wanted to. Yeah, that's it. So tomorrow, look for a video, you guys, in a little bit. I'm just finishing this final touches. Oh, my skin is oily. I am doing the finishing touches on a video I'm gonna drop tonight. And then I will have one available tomorrow as well. It's going to be her interrogation, which I encourage you to watch before we go live on Monday night. Monday night's live will be her on the stand because the other witnesses have already, I mean, everybody pretty much has the same testimony about what they witnessed or what have you. And so we don't need to go through every witness. I think we just need to go through, try to see how her interrogation aligns with, um, her testimony on the stand. And then we can watch victim impact. And her sentencing was like 5 or 6 minutes after that. So that is the lineup. I do appreciate everybody who came tonight. Thank you so much for your support. We are at 819 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. So if you guys don't go to bed tonight, you can watch the video or, whenever, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. I appreciate you guys so much for supporting me. So y'all be easy. Peace.